In this video, I cover the 2022 Heartbreaker Gravel Ride, which is one of the events that we have in this area. This one was put on by JOM of Gravel Cyclist, who you'll see at the beginning of the video. I do this one as a voiceover, but there are parts of the video where I just stop talking and let you enjoy the sights and sounds of the ride, especially for those of you who are stuck indoors and cannot ride because of winter weather. I hope you'll enjoy this view of our beautiful Florida weather. We don't always have weather this nice this time of year, but it happened to be a spectacular day, so enjoy.
Gravel? Oh no.
It's the man himself.
Can we redo that over? Together, hopefully it's a nice little group. When we get to about mile, I think it's 15, if you want to ride fast, go for it. If you want to cruise, like I'm going to do that as well. Whatever you want to do.
Huge pile up and hard
All right, so we are rolling out of town here on a few paved roads. As you heard JOM say at the beginning of the video, the first 15 miles or so are pretty neutral. And so we're just rolling along at a social pace. We had about 50 riders, give or take, on this ride, so really good turnout. I was really pleased to see that. This is a ride that has occurred at various times during the year, and after COVID it kind of shifted a little bit. So this year is in December, and we had absolutely perfect weather. It was, I think, 65 degrees and got up to maybe 70, and so the weather was perfect. So here we are, a dirt road. Actually, this one's really close to my office, so I ride this one a lot, even during the week. And most of the roads that we ride on this ride, I'll ride on the weekends because all of this is pretty close to my house. We're rolling up a hill there, and you saw JOM filming, which he does often with his hand holding the camera. So you saw my little sign there that this is where the pace picked up. So we're about 15 miles into the ride, and the pace picked up really quickly. Probably pushing like 350, 400 watts just to kind of stay on the wheel there. And you know, one thing unique about cycling, so if you don't ride and you don't ride road or gravel and you look at someone riding, it looks like, you know, someone who's a good rider has a smooth pedal stroke. It doesn't look like they're putting out much effort, and you'll notice that when you watch like the tour, but it was a lot of effort when the pace picked up. So we turned off of the first dirt segment that was fast and onto a paved segment. I would say just ballpark 70% of this ride was gravel or dirt. So now we're cruising along pretty good here. This is one of my favorite roads, actually. It gets pretty hilly, and the group is pretty together at this point. I'm going to estimate there were around 30 riders in the group. We did have one minor crash at the beginning of the ride. I would say it was in like the first couple miles. I don't know what happened. I never saw the guy, but I heard he just had some road rash, which, you know, happens in groups from time to time, but no other crashes that day, which was really, really good. So yeah, we're cruising along here. This is a pretty fast section. As I said, I'm going to just kind of not talk on some of these sections coming up and just let you enjoy some of the sounds of riding in a group. Ironically, I was really close to this section the night before at a work Christmas party. Kind of random. We had a work Christmas party out on a beautiful, like, wedding venue type ranch. It was gorgeous. And so we were really close to, in fact, on one of these turns coming up, if you went straight for like another minute, you would have come to that venue that we were at. So again, pretty random because we're like, 20 miles out to the country at this point. Just so happened to have an event there. Nice little hill here on this road. Like I said, this road is pretty good surface and some hills on it. So I really like it. And like most of our roads, it is pretty shaded. Pace is still pretty fast, and I would say honestly the pace was fast from the time we picked it up at mile 15 until we finished at mile 57, and then the ride did keep going after that back to town, but the race portion was over at mile 57, which, you know, it was fast. It was just fast. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let the video roll for a little bit and just let you enjoy the sights and sounds of this gravel ride.
See that stick bent his rear derailleur. Yeah, that
It's whacking good.
All right, so I'm doing a little interruption here to let you know to look for the guy on the right. It's a buddy of mine, and on this really bumpy road, his water bottle came out of his water bottle holder, got wedged between the crank and the frame, and squirted all the contents of the water bottle forward. It's crazy. I've never seen this happen before. I thought the stands came out of his front wheel and was flying out, but as I watched the video, I realized what happened, and he actually told me after the ride what happened. So it's crazy. So check this out.
oh! Short road that claimed a couple victims there. That was brutal. So a bent derailleur and a blown out tire.
All right, so here is where we started to get a split in the group, and you can see up the road there's a group of, I don't know, maybe 5 to 7 that really started to pull ahead, and we're coming up to a road called Old Bellamy Road, which is a classic. So we're on it right now. We just turned left onto it, and this road has 4 pretty good sized hills, and I would say the second and third hill are between 10 and 12% grade, so they're pretty steep. And I think we're coming up the first one here. The first one, I'd say it's around 8%, maybe up to 9 or 10. And so this is a road that usually splits the race apart, and that's what happened. But the split actually happened before this road, and had it not split, it probably would have split anyway on this road. So this is the second group, and this is still a really fast group. Like, there's some really strong riders, and I'm honestly at this point just kind of hanging on. I haven't done a fast group gravel ride in a while, but I was hanging on, and you can see some splits starting to happen here on Old Bellamy Road. Beautiful road. It's like 3 miles long, hilly, lots of trees, some turns, one of my favorite roads, and this is another one that I do during the week because it's pretty close to where I work. So coming down the hill now, I think this is the first downhill, and the downhills are equally as steep. So I'd say 8 to 12% grade on the downhills. Good surface, just like I said, really good road. And I'm gonna let the camera roll on this road. This was a good one to just keep the camera going. So I would let a gap kind of happen. I just was playing it cautious with this many people tightly packed together on a gravel road on a 30-mile-an-hour descent. I didn't want to take any chances, so I would kind of gap back a little bit and then just go up to the group when it flattened out. You can see the fall colors on the trees there. So our fall kind of hits about early to mid-November and continues almost all the way through December. So this is, I think, the second hill. This one's steeper than the first one. This one, I really think it gets up to about 12%. So it's a great hill. You can see the effort being put in by the riders on this hill. All right, so I'm gonna let the camera roll again with just the audio from the ride, so you can enjoy. So the pace kind of started to back off at this point for a little bit. We're coming up to a place called Pinky's Place. It's a bar out in the middle of nowhere, and you have to stop and take a selfie at Pinky's Place. So at this point, we pretty much knew that we were going to catch the first group. All right, here we are, taking our photo at Pinky's Place. Got to take a selfie on this ride. It's mandatory. All right, so I'm drifting back from taking my turn at the front. Still got a pretty good sized group. There was another group that when we were taking our selfie photos at Pinky's Place, they caught up. So we're all back together. This would be, I would consider, the peloton, and the breakaway is up ahead. And I did verify that the breakaway did take a selfie at Pinky's Place. All right, I'm out in front here so you can see what these roads look like just out in front. Lots of shade. Still a beautiful day. It was beautiful the whole ride. Really love these roads out here. So after taking my turn at the front, I drifted back. Just kind of hanging on the wheels here. The pace picked back up. We were pushing pretty good. We're not too far from the race finish, so where the hard effort kind of ends. And like I said, that's mile 57 where we
turning on to the last segment of dirt for the hard session.
So this is pretty much the last mile or two of the fast section, the race section. Like I said, coming up to mile 57, and then we roll about 13 miles back into town. There's a slight uphill, and that's the finish, and it's right before the road goes back to pavement. So I'm just gonna let the sounds of the ride continue here.
No, we have more than that.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I think we had 48.
Okay, that's better.
What's up, Todd?
Hey, man.
So this is Todd, the super domestique. You had the most important domestique job today. What was your job today?
My job was to supply all of the riders with beer at the finish. So we've dragged it out here in a nice bob trailer on loan from Dr. Payne. Plus or minus 25 pounds of beer, 10 pounds of ice. The trailer's about 15 pounds. The cooler's a couple pounds. So yeah, I towed about 50 pounds out here, and my internal watt meter said about 200 watts to go 15 miles an hour into the headwind. So yeah, I got quite a workout.
So the training tip is bring a bunch of beer on your ride.
Yeah, and you know, definitely don't stop, because that thing will tip you over. When there's that much weight in a trailer, it's sketchy back there.
Cool. We appreciate it.
It was fun.
Yeah, and the finish. Yeah, cheers. And the finish, the race finish is about 13 miles from town. So he had to bring all that beer out to the country. And so now we're gonna hang out and then roll back into town. That is the 2022 Heartbreaker Gravel Ride. It was a blast. Ride hard, have fun. That's what it's all about. If you want to check out JOM's video or Jom's video from Gravel Cyclist, I'll drop that in the description below, a link to that one. His is a different perspective. It's a little shorter, and he holds the camera in his hand. So like I said, it's a different perspective. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do so, and give the video a thumbs up for me. That really helps out the analytics of this channel. It really does. I would appreciate that. That's it for this one. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.